And welcome to the ExpertSaw.com review channel. In this video, we will show you a really special model. We are going to show you the Bahco 301 6.5-inch coping saw. An adapting saw comprises a thin, solidified steel edge, extended between the parts of the bargains, C-molded, springy iron casing to which a handle is joined. The cutting edge is forcefully expelled from the housing with the goal that the sharp edge can be gone through a penetrated gap in a bit of wood. The advantage is then reconnected to the cutting edge in the cut beginnings from the center of the piece. It is possible to cut long cuts parallel to the surface of the object, but the frame's shallow depth restricts where on the rim one can cut. The fret saw's much thinner framework is more suitable for cutting up to the edge. However, the thicker materials typically sliced by the gripping saws cannot be treated conversely. Adapting saws are utilized for cutting the scope of woods and are helpful for cutting irregular shapes or bends. In a cutting-edge workshop, these shapes are ordinarily cut using machine fret saws. Notwithstanding, there are times when the apparatus are not accessible. Likewise, utilizing an adapting saw is a trial of expertise, as it very well may be hard to control and demands practice. Adjusting saws are used for cutting the extent of woods and are especially crucial for cutting irregular shapes or curves. In a forefront workshop, the outline is commonly cut using machine band saws. In any case, there is a pace when the appliance is not open. Also, using an adjusting saw is a preliminary of fitness, as it might be challenging to oversee and requires readiness. The manual adapting saw comprises a handle connected to a U-formed hardware structure. The cutting edge is associated with one of two sides of the shape grasped by an arrangement of hawls. On the sharp edge, flea screws, edge cinches for example, a tension switch framework. This moderately lightweight saw is dealt with vertically or opposite to the area being cut by means of a sturdy handle, of timber, complex, or alloy. The edge must be picked by the material being nipped timber, plastic, or delicate element, copper, metal, and so forth, and its density. Most extreme thickness is somewhere in the range of 30 and 40 mm, relying upon the specific saw. There is a wide range of sorts of a manual adapting saw, changing for particular employments. Electric adapting saws likewise have a gooseneck, yet the development of the dual arms, under and over, is constrained by a little engine delivering a swaying growth start to finish. A level aluminum plate gives a surface to put the bit to be nip. The portion could be elevated until 45° contingent upon model, enabling you to nip angled edges, for example at an advantage. These apparatus accompany an assortment of assistants to encourage cutting. These accompany. An adjusting saw originally comes because it is primarily used to make modified joints. For the most part, an adapted fitting requires two pieces of an exaggeration, one of whom is cut to suit against a separator to the end. Another part is designed to conform across the roll, with the intention of a tightly balanced joint being formed by the two. Then again, the adjusting saw is useful. While buying a coping saw at the time of contemplating the usages, focal points, and confinements of such watched, it is also noteworthy that some various components are noted as well. These factors are progressively up close and personal to the customer or woodworker and may change beginning along with one user then onto the following. The drift and shelter demand to effort the saw are the parts. The cost of obtaining the saw and the not meet essential of each crucial components to be considered moreover. Perhaps the adapting saw is the best tool to cut holes in a solid piece of plywood. Although the state-of-the-art on an adjusting saw can be easily isolated, the article basically cuts a hole, passes through the jagged edge, and then reassembles the case. Then the opening could be expanded and turned into a framework in the wood's focal point. Do not opt for a saw that is more expensive. So you have to examine your pocket first before drawing nearer out of it while picking either the material saw or the adjusting saw. To the extent being expensive, the adjusting saw is a suffering regular gadget, and everything thought of it as is more reasonable than the material saw. In any case, if you are sufficiently light to pay the expense and the material saw is that is good for the activity waiting be done, by then you should make a special effort. Make a point to obtain outlay limit masterminded before choosing a decision, so every saw out there doesn't appear as if it. The Bahco is our best pick for adjusting saw. It incorporates an incredible wooden handle and a strong metal packaging that will stand up to a huge amount of abuse. You can without a doubt change the sharp edge pressure by twisting the handle. That makes adjustments brisk and save you a lot of efforts and disappointment as time goes on. Fundamentally, This system works with ideal adjusting saw bleeding edges, which suggests you'll by and large have the choice to find a substitution while sharp pins gets blunt.